The prayer is basically a plea for the force of bestowal, the second force that exists in nature and is hidden. The force of reception controls us, and we live in a world of reception. What was given to us is the point in the heart and the feeling of the deficiency, and the force of reception that we are unable to receive, and we are dissatisfied. And this is really the help that comes to us in order to help us shift from that zone, that area, that environment, that atmosphere, that we are all in the force of reception, into a different environment where we come under the influence, the governance of the force of bestowal. The force of bestowal is the force of the Creator, which exists from the very beginning and exists forever. It created the force of reception only so we would acquire the force of bestowal from within the force of reception, and then we will exist as independent on the one hand, outside of Him, and on the other hand, we will feel and know Him and feel like Him. I think this is the only way that He could create us, on the one hand, outside of Him, with a different quality, that of reception, and on the other hand, to allow us, to give us a chance to be like Him, with the quality of bestowal. This is why we have to divide all of reality into two, a reality of reception and a reality of bestowal, and constantly see how we shift from the reality of reception, the egoistic reality, into the reality of bestowal. And that transition we can do only by asking for the force of bestowal that is present in the world of bestowal, in the upper world, will pour on us, will influence us from there, and will gradually give us the qualities of bestowal. So they will be in us and will control us, govern us, and we will prefer them to the qualities of reception, in which we were born and developed. And in this way, in the qualities of bestowal, when they become more than the qualities of reception, in this way we will build ourselves. This approach, where the qualities of bestowal, which are initially below, as they should be by nature, and above them are the qualities of bestowal, where we want specifically this to direct us, control us. This is called being with faith above reason, bestowal above reception. And all of the operations we can do are through that source, that situation that the Creator set up for us, where in each of us there's a big spark, a small spark from the force of bestowal, which is called a point in the heart. And if we can connect our points in a 10, could be a little bit fewer than 10, but not more than 10, because then we can't keep within us that number if it's too much. So if we want to assemble our forces, our pieces that we have from each one, the yearning to reach the purpose of life, the essence of life, then although in each of us there isn't the strength to achieve it, if we connect these forces and with the disposition, with the inclination to discover the essence of life, the purpose of life, even if it's the force of bestowal, we will make efforts, we will exert and act to make the force of bestowal very important among us. And then gradually we will receive the reforming light, which is called the force of bestowal operating on us, which adds to us the ability to connect among us, to become closer to each other. And in this way, by nearing, by getting closer, we will begin to identify, to feel, to study what is the force of bestowal. Of course, this nearing comes by the general force of bestowal, which is the Creator, which is present but is concealed among us. It must reveal to us what is the force of bestowal and how we can work with it, how we can yearn for it, ask for its help. And in this way, to gradually continue to come in contact with it. Although it's a slow, gradual process, we can still detect that all of a sudden we understand more, we feel more, that turning to the force of bestowal becomes a more natural plea, turning to it. In this way, we gradually come to know it. So he will not be a foreign God to you, an alien God. These things come through all the upper systems and into all of our systems, which we still don't understand or feel really, truly. But bit by bit, from day to day, we begin through the internal feelings to know them more and more. It comes because everything comes by recognizing a little more and a little more and a little more. So there is the matter of prayer here, by which we mainly need to help each other, by which we need to give an example of turning to the force of bestowal, of wanting it to help us. The force of reception, too, stems from that source, from the upper source, from the Creator, from the upper force. But the force of reception awakens us according to its program, in each of us and in all of us together. It awakens in us deficiencies, but these deficiencies are not directed correctly. But we, through the 10, as we come to connect, get closer to each other, and we should explain to each other from the articles, from the lessons, what we have to do in order to help and direct each one in the right direction, to be aimed in the direction of the Creator. In this way, we gradually attain both the connection between us and in the direction, in the connection between us is the Creator. The Creator should be the target, the goal. Yes, it has to be, I am the first. And the operations we do, the activities we do, should also bring us to the state where I'm the last, meaning that we aim for Him. So it turns out that between I'm the first and I'm the last, between the beginning of the work and the end of the work, we have only one thing: to constantly turn to the Creator, activate Him. When we activate Him, it is called, "My sons defeated me." I gave them a will to receive, the evil inclination, and they ask instead that I will give them the good inclination, the desire to bestow. In this way, we come to a state where the Creator enjoys us. He helps us, and we, by participating only with ourselves, working with ourselves, only we become partners with Him as well, participate with Him. I am for my beloved, and my beloved is for me. Also in the actions where He increases our force of reception, the evil inclination, and also in the actions where He increases our good force, the force of bestowal. In this way, we rise and rise each time in the degrees of faith above reason. And in each degree, we have more reason, more force of reception, and faith, greater faith above it, the force of bestowal. Malchut and Bina, Bina and Malchut, this is how they constantly are kept through our efforts and the work of the Creator. So we keep rising and rising and rising and elevating this sandwich of Bina and Malchut into higher levels. And we see that specifically through this ascension of Bina and Malchut, we begin to see the size of this world and the size of the spiritual world, how powerful the two of them become. And in the gap between them, we discover the whole of the wisdom of the world. All the knowledge of the world. And by this, we advance and enter eternity with these two forces. None of them ever disappears. They always exist together, because only between the two we can exist like created beings. And only by having two, right and left, we, through our work, can put them together, these two forces, so they will be to us as a middle line by which we assemble the image of the Creator. This is called "You have made me." So from above downward, the Creator brings us the powers, the forces, and from below upward, we, with these forces, put together what is called the force of bestowal, which is at the basis of the force of reception that He has created. And we, with the force of reception, build the image of bestowal. And therefore, here is where we truly have a special creation. We still don't realize how these forces are above our whole universe, our whole world, how special these forces are, how eternal they are, and that nothing exists outside of them. But in all of these operations that we have to go through every step of the way, we have really only one operation to do: to focus ourselves on the prayer. It's not simple. We already know that we try to turn, and that when we try to turn to Him, how many questions we have. I should turn to Him alone? No, I should turn with others. Where are the others? How do I assemble them into a 10? How do I organize them so they are as one man with one heart? And then out of this one desire, which is called the heart, how do we turn to the Creator? And He feels our one desire, our one heart, And accordingly he answers, because we want to skip over the ego that separates us, our individual desires, and bring us into one desire. That one desire governs the 10 individual desires, and so out of all the 10 individual desires, what's left is their qualities. They don't disappear. The one desire that they become doesn't mean that nothing is left of their personality, their individuality, but rather it is to the contrary. The more we advance, he who is greater than his friend, his desire is greater than him. We become more and more conspicuous, standing out, different from each other. And on top of it, we should only build one inclination toward the Creator, so He will govern and connect us. And in this, He doesn't cancel us. None of us disappears with his individual qualities, which are revealed in the breaking of Adam, the system of Adam. That precisely by this breaking, each of us receives his whole package, all of his forces and qualities of his individual soul. This incorporation that took place through the shattering, we only elevate this incorporation to the level of mutual bestowal between them, in general bestowal. In each of us, there are many desires and qualities that are different. And we must not destroy anything, must not erase anything, but rather arrange them in such a way that they are internally connected to each other correctly in strengthening toward the Creator. This is called positioning our own internal broken bodies, which are made of many pieces, and they all connect into one operation, one inclination, one action toward being a man, toward giving contentment to the Creator. And then each one seemingly assembles, puts together, connects all of his broken pieces. And then each of us individually does it. And in this way, we come to a state where out of ourselves, out of these broken pieces, we put together the Creator. Because who are we? We were broken through the upper force. And as we work on uniting, we struggle. We make a fight. We fight with the evil inclination that separates us. By struggling to unite, to connect, there are forces that separate us, but we do want to connect them. The forces that want to push us apart are egoistic forces, and they rightly want to push us apart because we are different from each other in every way, and we discover it more and more. And the good force that we want to pull from above, which is one, unique and unified, for it to connect us above all the differences between us and connect us. It can't change our nature, and it doesn't even intend to. Rather, it creates such a connection between us so that love covers all the crimes. And then we put together each of the pieces, each of the broken pieces, and then we don't exist once in this nature, once in that nature, once in this desire, once in that desire. Once we're good, another time we're bad. Once we fight, another time we love each other. Rather, we, through this common general force of bestowal, we begin to see how we can use all of our qualities, different qualities that are completely contradictory. We can still use them together. And then we begin to learn how they can complement one another, these things. So we don't shift from one state, from one mood to another mood, from one thought to another thought, but from everything. How they can all connect together. And in this common connection, it will give us the image of the Creator, the shape of the Creator. This is how we build Him. And in each of us, and in all of us together. So the image of the Creator didn't exist prior to creation. To the creation of creation, there was only a theoretical force of bestowal. But now it becomes revealed that the force of bestowal truly governs, is great, and stands above the force of reception, over the broken pieces that connect among them, above the shattering. And specifically by this, as it is written, the Lord will be one over all the earth. His name will be one. His name will be one. He will be one and His name one. So we will be able to connect everything above all the separations. And by this, we truly bring the Creator into complete governance. So all of this is achieved, as we already said, through the force of bestowal, the force of the prayer, so as to receive the force of bestowal through patience, through gradual work, where we need only to want to arrange these things, to put them all together, to organize them. But in truth, we never know how they connect. And we only are amazed each time at how the same things that previously, a moment ago or yesterday, were contradictory, and we couldn't bring them together. All of a sudden, they connect and complement each other. And this is what brings us the joy, the greatest joy. As it is written, there is no greater joy than the resolution of doubts. Where if we suddenly see how contradictory things actually complement themselves, complement each other, this brings us understanding and recognition and joy as a result of it. The greatest joy is when we should come to this. It is the joy of the end of correction. When all the contradictions, we suddenly see how through their contradiction, precisely through the contradiction, they can complement one another. And it is all done through the power of our own work, our own prayer, where we asked and drew the reforming light so it would make peace between them, make them whole, complement them. And therefore, our work is to correct the broken Adam Rishon. Bring it into wholeness, completeness, through our participation in the prayer. And the Abba force, according to our prayer, only according to our prayer, will act and correct that situation which He broke. And in this, we become the Creator's partners. We participate with Him. And we understand all of creation in its broken states and in the states where they complement one another. And we have no greater pleasure than to see the work of the Creator, how He does it according to our request. Therefore, everything is obtained through the power of prayer from now to the end of correction.
each day, as we feel that we go more and more into the matter of prayer, that this matter becomes more and more mutual between us and the Creator, and also among us, among ourselves, it becomes more powerful, and between us and the Creator. So by this, we can later see our work, and count the degrees we go through.